Hey everyone, just before I start this video, I want to let you all know that probably at the beginning of this video I'm going to sound a bit weird because I'm all stuffed up with a cold, but the video should still be fine. Hopefully by the end of it I won't sound as ill. Anyway, let's get on with the video. In October, I opened up my commissions, and the lovely Cosmic decided to commission me. They commissioned two pieces, one full body of their own character, and a lovely finished illustration of Aphmau from Minecraft Diaries. This video is purely just about the finished illustration. I thought it would be fun to talk about how I go about working on a full piece, just so you guys can learn my process. Okay, so the first step was taking a look at what Cosmic had wanted, then diving into a sketchbook to learn the character designs. However, I've drawn Aphmau plenty times already, so all I had to do was figure out how to translate the skin into my style. Quickly, in my sketchbook, I do usually draw the character a few times to learn their traits. I'm using a different commission for this example. This was a really fun study. I enjoyed drawing this character with the big glasses here. It was really fun to figure out how to use the glasses to show off their expression instead of just using their eyes. It's a really fun, subtle way of conveying their body language. I also decided to do some studies of Ida from the Owl House because I thought these two characters gave off pretty similar vibes in how they look, so I just did some screenshot studies of her. I was also going to do, I think it's Senshi from Dungeon Meshi as well, but I had already drawn this dwarf character previously, so I kind of just jumped into it. Usually I would do some sort of study of a different character that gives me the same vibes before moving on. Anyways, back to Aphmau. I went on Pinterest to find out what the girlies were wearing back in the day and compiled some images into my Milano board so I could have easy access to them for reference. I took my Aphmau design plus this image and this skin, mushed them all together, and bam! Pretty little Aphmau design. This was well in my comfort zone, so it came to me pretty quickly, so I didn't have to do much more experimentation after this.
With Aphmau done,
it was time to move on to Gareth, though I honestly never really did much for him. I kind of just jumped right into his design. All I did was went onto Pinterest and looked up and saw if anybody else had drew him and just took reference from their design. I also took a lot of reference from Roxy Spirit's design on Instagram. I basically just got some cool nights and mixed it all together and came up with something. His design process wasn't really that interesting. Sometimes the creative process just happens and you don't really remember how you got there, or it's just really boring.
for the final part of the research/testing phase, all I had to do was figure out the base colors. They were both fairly simple. All I did was reference the Minecraft skins, fan art, and my own personal headcanons. In the end, I didn't stray very far from the original colors, just tweak them slightly to fit what I think would go best with the colors I had in mind for the whole drawing. Now, we're on to the actual commission. I started off by taking one of the shots that Cosmic had sent me from Diaries Rebirth and traced over in my style to get exactly what Cosmic had asked me for. This basically ties into my first step for a big piece, which is usually block in shapes of the characters. Just get something onto that black canvas to work from because it's much better to have a foundation than going into it with no idea. Anyway, the next step is to work on actually figuring out the character's design, the pose that I want to go for, and fixing all of the anatomy stuff. I try out a few different variations of the pose, just holding hands, Aphmau putting her hand on Gareth's chest, stuff like that, just to see what worked best. But I really struggled with Gareth a lot for some reason. I think it was because he's a lot taller than Aphmau, and I didn't really think about his arms until more into the line art phase. So he looks a little wonky, but we just ignore that. Just something I have to remember for next time when drawing tall and small characters. Anyway, with the sketch basically done, I start blocking in where I want certain colours to be in the sketch phase. This makes colouring later a lot easier. It saves a lot of the guesswork, and you can test out different colours to make sure it's right before you make any finalisation. It is a big pain when you skip this step, because you get to the final colours and realise that they do not fit your vision, so you realise they all look wrong, but you can't change them properly because everything's already done. And when you go in with any layer modes or anything, the colours just don't look right. totally not speaking from experience here. The line work was really fun and simple to do, for Aphmau at least. Gareth was a little bit more of a struggle though because of the obvious issues with his weird arms. However, I also never really thought about his design in this angle, and well, it didn't really work, so I had to tweak a few things, which was a pain again. Guys, please draw your characters from different angles. Now I start laying down the darker colours of the piece, then adding the lighter colours on top. This was a bit of a strange way to go about things for me. Not quite sure why I did it this way, but it does work out in the end. I did have to render in a pretty weird way to make it work. Definitely don't think I'll be going about it this way again in the future. Anyway, I start adding in all of the details of the hair and clothing. I really enjoyed rendering Aphmau. I love long flowy sleeves and dresses. They're always a blast to colour. I don't have much else to say. A lot of it is pretty straightforward from here on out. In the end, I added some proper sunny lighting hitting Gareth and Aphmau from between the trees. I then refined most of the background details so they don't just look like coloured blobs. I'm very happy I did the first steps in the sketch phase, because oh my god, this background was a blast to colour. I really enjoyed going about the bushes and the leaves. Tracing around the edge with a thick line was really fun, and I think it adds some uniqueness to the drawing. I also added in some bushes in the foreground to give the impression of depth. Finally, I added some rays of light and fiddled about with the colours using the colour balance mode, and I finished this drawing with 2 versions. Peaceful sunset vibes and one during the day. During the day one is the original colours, and the sunset vibes is the colour changed one. I can't really choose which one I prefer, so I kept both in. Anyway, that's now the end of the video. I'm so sorry this took so long to get out. A lot of it had to do with lack of motivation on my end, and then my boyfriend having a crazy work schedule where he didn't really have time to do anything. But things are changing, hopefully. We are hoping to get at least 1 video out per month, but I won't make any promises this time. I really enjoyed making this drawing. It was a really fun process that turns out in having results I'm really happy about. I actually quite like making these process videos, and they're quite fun, so you could probably expect more in the future. I do hope to get better as time goes along. I'm still a bit awkward with these YouTube videos at the moment, which you can probably tell. But thank you so much again, Cosmic, especially for commissioning me. Really sweet of you. If you guys are interested in getting a commission, you can DM me on Instagram or Twitter. I'm updating my commission list. It might already be updated by the time this video's out, but if not, it should be now. But yeah, that's it for now, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!